Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about episode 9 of House of the Dragon. I know I just put out a video catching up on the rest of the season, but here we are with another video. Have to talk about this episode, and let's get straight into it. So what we've been waiting for the entire season has finally happened. King Viserys has died. This is the moment. The plot of the entire show revolves around Viserys naming Rhaenyra his heir. And all the tension, and all the drama, and all the infighting of the family leading up to this point has been around the fact that she will be, or is meant to be, queen after Viserys is gone. So, the Hightowers jump straight to action. Otto and Alicent, they call a council, a small council, and they say, Aegon, Viserys' son to Alicent. That's what he said in the last episode, which is kind of contrived. I don't know what it'd be in the books. I'd be very interested to know what actually happened in the books to lead to Aegon being crowned. But in the show, Viserys, he whispered the prophecy to Alicent thinking it was Rhaenyra. And so Alicent believes her son is that's what he meant. Aegon to be king. So they're setting up, telling the small council, hey, we gotta find Aegon, we're gonna crown him in the morning. And then Lord Beesbury's like, no, this is treason, I knew Viserys. He would not want this, he never wanted this. The plan to have Rhaenyra as queen has been in place for like 20 years at this point. No, we're not doing that. And then they're like, yes, we are. Criston Cole, who by the way, has just turned into a scumbag. I actually liked him. When the season started, he was a nice guy. He's just an outright villain at this point. He takes Beesbury and just goes, bang! Cracks his head open on the pool ball. They leave him there. I was like, what the fuck? That was weird to me. I let Criston Cole go with killing Joffrey at the wedding in episode 5 because I was like, alright, maybe through their politicking they can come up with a reason for him attacking him and killing him, like he was gonna kill someone or whatever. But here, he just outright murders him. I know Westerling, the Lord Commander of the Kingsguard, drew his sword and confronted him, but nothing really happened. And now Criston Cole's gonna be the Lord Commander after him. He's just murdering his way to the top, this guy. What happened to you, my boy? Look how they massacred my boy.
Look how they massacred my boy.
So we go from this little council to the thrust of the episode, which is we need to actually find Aegon, because he's not in the castle. He's out whoring or gambling or doing whatever he's doing out in King's Landing. So Otto Hightower assembles Eric and Arik, the two twins on the small council, Kingsguard, to go find him. And Alicent does the same with Criston Cole. She recruits him. She says, you need to find him first. And then Aemond joins Criston Cole and they go out together. So it's like the two teams out in King's Landing trying to find Aegon first. So we see the two teams out in the street. It's actually not as exciting or thrilling as you might think. They stumble upon some of Aegon's bastards in a child fighting ring, setting up that Aegon has bastards, kind of like King Robert, so that could be a plot line, and with the blonde hair, it's kind of a hard thing to hide. Oh, and then there's all the turmoil at court. Otto is telling all the lords at court to kneel. This is the way things are. And the ones that don't are killed publicly, which is just... I didn't know Otto was this ruthless, if I'm being honest with you. So, it's like Aegon is king or you die, leaving everyone in a very tough position. Rhaenys is still at court, and up until this point in the story, she's been kind of a bystander. Lots of bad things have been happening to her family, and she's been right about everything, saying, no, we shouldn't do this, we shouldn't do this, we shouldn't do this. And it's all led her family basically to ruin, almost. And now she's been locked in her room at court, and eventually Alicent comes out and says, this is the way things are going to be. And it sets up the fact that Rhaenys needs to make a decision on what you're going to do going forward. But both the teams find, like the two foot soldiers teams, find Aegon, I think in the Sept of, I think that was the Sept. I don't actually know what that building was, but he was hiding in a Sept, which was a little weird. I don't know. Is that his drinking spot? I don't know. He tries to run away and he says he's not worthy, so he's aware of the fact that he's a scumbag. And Aemon Aemon brings up the fact that he wants to be king, that he would be better, and he probably would. Aemon hasn't shown that he's a cruel person. Although you can see he's dangerous, he's not a cruel person, so far as we know. And they're setting up that little bit of tension there between the brothers. I don't know if that will come to fruition later on, if Aemon will plot to kill Aegon, or whatever else will happen. But they bring Aegon back. They're like, hey, you're getting crowned in a couple hours, get yourself ready. Blah, blah, blah. We go ahead forward to feet. This was so weird. This scene was weird. Larys Strong was masturbating to Alicent's feet in front of her. Getting a bit Quentin Tarantino on us here. This scene to me, now while I enjoyed it and it made me laugh, this is kind of reminiscent, and it's been like that a few times in the series so far, where it feels like the showrunners are aware of what made Game of Thrones kind of popular amongst the general audiences. So yeah, violence and sex. And so and like weird taboo stuff. So they sprinkle some stuff in throughout the season to give us that, like that shock value. Like this whole feet thing that's going on now, that just feels like shock value to me. I mean, it is interesting because it develops his character a little bit, but we already knew he was weird. Now he's just really weird. So, oh, whatever. She didn't even like her feet, I don't know. I don't understand people that like feet. Why? Feet. And then we get to the end of the episode. Now, the whole time, it's episode 9, right? So I was expecting that big something to happen, you know. That's like the tradition of the series. But nothing had happened really massively up until this point. So you get this big crowd in the Dragon Pit. They're going to do the crowning of Aegon there. And there's a lot of tension going into this because it is like, ooh, what's going to happen? Surely this is not going to go as planned. And it brings me to my criticism of this episode. And something I really didn't like at all. I really didn't like the big thing that happens here. So they crown Aegon. He starts to love like the attention and love he's getting. It kind of changes his mind on being king, seemingly. So he's fully on board. But Rhaenys, I forgot to mention, she was smuggled out of the castle. She's ended up at the Dragon Pit, right? Which is where she wanted to go because her dragon is being kept there at the moment. She's able to sneak off from the crowd and just go downstairs to get the dragons, which first of all seems like a massive security issue. The dragons are the dragons. Now, I know a dragon can handle itself, but what if some people just wanted to go down there and try and kill one? I mean, with a spear, a few spears or whatever, maybe some people could succeed if they really wanted to. I don't know, especially with like the baby dragons that are down there. Anyway, she runs off, goes down there. So you're expecting the dragon to come out of the ground at any point, and it does. So you probably killed 1,000 common folk there. Rhaenys, on her dragon, comes out of the ground, kills all these people, which I don't think is in her character at all. She has never shown to be a person that would just kill, even incidentally. Like, she knew what she was doing. I'm sure there are other ways out of the Dragon Pit, but she made the statement of coming through the floor. And she's wearing armor. I guess there's armor down there. Her armor was just down there. I don't know. And she comes up and she's just like, yeah, I'm tough. Which, I mean, it's a cool moment, but it just doesn't make sense. Because then, you know, no one's trying to help kill the dragon. Everyone's just trying to run out. All the high towers are still on the dais watching. I mean, there's not much you can really do against a dragon at that point. Rhaenys sort of just stares at everyone, the dragon screeches at them, and it flies away, which is a cool moment, and I liked how the dragon maneuvered its way through the door. It was very agile, which is kind of cool to see. But that's how the episode ends. And it's kind of a weird, awkward, just fade to black, no music. It just, I don't know, it felt awkward and weird. I just didn't like that scene. Like, if she had just escaped another way, and the Hightowers saw the dragon fly out of the pit, they would know what's happening, which sets up, you get to the same conclusion without killing people, and, you know, and there'll be no consequences for what just happened at all. That's one of my biggest criticisms of the show, is that there are no consequences really for anything that's been happening. And it's kind of annoying. From what I understand, this is only a very small part of the book. This whole season is it's like barely anything of the book. So they've had to fill in a lot of the gaps, which they've done very well. But things that require consequence, they haven't given the consequence, because if you actually delivered the consequences to these characters, they might not be available for certain events they need to be in the future. And I'm not enjoying that aspect of the show. Game of Thrones did that a lot better. That actually was the core of Game of Thrones, was every action has a reaction. Ned Stark being, just a good bloke, got his head cut off. Robb Stark marrying the wrong person, got him killed at the Red Wedding. Oberyn Martell being too proud to just kill the Mountain, got his head crushed in. And I know they're kind of big plot points, but this show, with Kristen Cole just murdering and no consequence. The Kingsguard are pretty much useless. Daemon cutting off Vaemon's head in the last episode, no consequence. It's kind of annoying, but, everything else has been pretty strong, so I guess I'll look past it. I guess that's it. That's episode 9. I guess it was disappointing. It wasn't disappointing, but it wasn't the best episode. It's probably one of the weaker episodes. But next week should be good. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully we get a good finale. Fingers crossed. That'll do it for today's video. I hope you stuck around. I've sort of drawn it out a bit. It's a bit longer than I thought it would be. But I guess I'll see you in the next video. Whatever that may be. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye now.